Hello and welcome my dear second standard little champs. How are you all? Are you all fit and fine? I hope you are taking care of yourselves and your health. Also, you are following each and every lecture of English. So my dear little champs, as you know that in the previous lecture of English, we had just written hard words and meanings of chapter number 6, easier said than done. So this was the new chapter we started because as you know that your internal test is over. So now we just started with the new chapter rather than doing the revision because now there was no use of doing any revision work. So my dear little champs, I hope that you have done your homework of meanings and hard words which you had to write once in your rough notebook. So this is what the homework was given to you in the previous lecture. So my dear little champs, now as you know that I first gave you meanings and hard words so that you can become familiar with few words, you can know the meanings of few words and further you can understand the lesson. So now today we are going to start with the lesson understanding part. So I am going to explain you the lesson today, easier said than done. What lesson exactly it is. Now to understand the lesson, I will give you few suggestions. A simple suggestion kind of like, you can wear the earphones or the headphones you have so that you can fully pay the attention, 100% attention in the lecture on the screen. So therefore you can understand the lesson properly. It happens sometimes that when you are understanding the lesson, your attention goes here and there as you are sitting at your home. It is likely to happen. So to avoid that, you can wear the headphones or earphones, you can understand the lesson properly. It's just that you have to pay 100% attention, only then will you be able to understand the lesson. So now, with the hope that you have completed hard words and meanings in your rough notebook, let's get started. Let's understand the lesson number 6, easier said than done. So my dear students, this is the heading. I have explained you even in the previous lecture what it means. Still, let me explain it to you once again so that you can connect yourself with this lesson. So students, I just want to ask you one simple question before starting this explanation part. Just listen to my question very carefully. So my dear students, has it ever happened like sometimes when your brother is doing some work or your sister is doing some work, you go there, you observe them and then you just laugh at your brother and sister and then you say, oh, this work is pretty easy, why can't you finish it off very swiftly or very fast? You laugh at them that why are they doing this work so in a critical manner, why it seems complex to them. So when you see something, you feel that this work is very easy and you laugh at the people that why are they not doing it easily. But then when you go there and practically when you do that work, it is very much tough. So has it ever happened like this with you at your home, at your cousin's house or somewhere else, that when you laugh at someone and when you go to do that work, it really is the tough work for you. So this is what this lesson means. This lesson means the same thing, that you can easily say something, but it is actually very tough when you practically do that work. So here is the story of husband and wife. Generally we have seen in various movies and television shows and in the cartoon as well, always husband is yelling on the wife for some mistakes in cooking the food, in maintaining the wardrobe, in washing the clothes and etc. There are a whole lot of things husband shouts on the wife. And so the fight begins. So this is the same story here in the chapter number 6. But here at the end, husband realizes how hard, how tough the job is to maintain the house, because generally the man thinks that to go out in the world and to earn is the toughest job. Actually it is not. So here the wife proves that the work done at the house, at the home, to maintain the home is the toughest job you can ever do. So let's read and understand the story. Once upon a time there was a farmer named Hans. He lived in a village with his wife Martha. So like I said, this story is of husband and wife. The name of the man was Hans and the name of his wife was Martha. Hans always found fault with the way Martha kept the house. So like I said that this man was always complaining to his wife, you have not kept the clothes properly, you have not washed the utensils properly, and you have not made the bed properly, you are not cooking properly, and this and that. So every time this man Hans used to complain for some or the other thing to his wife Martha. Obviously, just imagine, once or twice someone gives you the suggestion, it is okay with you, but again and again someone is poking the nose in your work. Will it be really cool for you? Certainly not. You are going to get pissed off, isn't it so? And the same thing happened with Martha. Martha was really fed up listening to the complaints which were actually unnecessarily done by her husband Hans. Now Martha was tired of Hans' complaints. So like I said, Martha one day got really fed up listening to the complaints right from the morning till the evening she slept. So she said one day, I will go out to work in the field tomorrow and you take care of the house. So like I gave you the example in the beginning that you laugh at someone, but actually when your turn comes to do that same job, it seems really very tough. Now say for an example, you and your friend are sitting in the class. When there is an English lecture and when your friend stands up to read the lesson, you laugh at them, right? Oh, how poor is she reading, or how poor is he reading, I can read better. But when your time comes to stand up and read, at that time you really perform worse than your friend did. At that time you realize that the work he or she is doing is not easy. So here the same thing happened. Martha one day, when she was really fed up, she was really pissed off, what did she do? She said her husband Hans, that Hans, I will go out on the fields tomorrow and you take care of the house, you do all the housework and I will do the work you do in the farm. Now what is the field, what is the farm? Let me show you. So this is the field, as you can see here, when generally the man farmer works. Also lady farmer also are seen nowadays standing as a helping hand to the man farmer, but generally man farmer works here on the field to plow the vegetables and fruits, to grow the vegetables and fruits. This is what they do, because of which we all get the fruits, vegetables and different things. So my dear students, here Martha said that I will go out here in the fields, in the farm and work, grow the vegetables and fruit, and you stay home and do the household chores. So Martha was really fed up and she knew that the work she did at home was not really easy work. So she challenged her husband that you stay home and do the work which I do from morning to the night till the evening, late evening, and I will go out and do your job. Let's see which job is toughest one. She somewhere knew that Hans will not be able to manage the home, as there are varieties of work lady does at home. So now let's see what happens, whether Hans successfully handles the house for a day or not. I hope, my dear students, that this much story is first of all clear in your mind where it is starting from, because when the base is clear, you will be able to stay on the track and understand the rest of the part of the story. So let us read and understand what happened next, whether Hans accepted or not this challenge. Now students, what will you do? Will you accept this challenge of maintaining the house? You know that there are a whole lot of things and the work you have to do at home. Starting from the morning till the evening, your mom does varieties of the thing which you think which is very hard, right? To wash the clothes, to fold the clothes and keep it at the place, to maintain, to just sweep the house, to clean the house, to maintain the bed, to cook the food, to clean the utensils, and etc. etc. Endless list is there. Your mom does right from when she wakes up in the morning till she sleeps at the night. So let's see whether Hans is able to do or not. Hans was happy with this idea. Now we are glad, students, to hear that Hans actually was happy. So I think that Hans does not know what her wife does daily at home. That is why he is happy. He thought that now I don't have to go on the field, I have to stay home, I'll be happy, and this and that. So let's see what happens. The next day he wanted to churn the butter first. To churn the butter means to mix the milk or the cream and to make the butter with the hands. So after churning it for some time, he felt thirsty. He went down to the cellar to get some apple juice. Now what is cellar? Cellar is a kind of underground room in the house. In the olden days, they used to keep the storehouse underground. So my dear students, as you can see that these are the pictures I have brought for you to show you how cellar, which is underground storehouse, in the olden days looked like. So as you can see that these are the underground rooms where you can just store the food, juice and the varieties of the thing in the bulk of quantity. That means in a big quantity. So now when Hans felt thirsty after churning the butter, after making the butter for a while time, he felt thirsty. So he went down in the cellar to get some apple juice. So they used to store their apple juice in a big quantity in the cellar, in the underground room. As soon as he opened the barrel, he heard the barking of dog. It was inside a house and seemed to have knocked over a pot. So my dear students, as soon as Hans came down, he heard the barking dog and he heard that one flower pot in the house fell down and broke into pieces. So he definitely was worried about his house. So he went upstairs again in the hall where he kept the door open to close the door and to drive away the dog out of the house. So first he opened the lid. He opened the barrel. Now what is barrel? As you can see in the picture, this is barrel in which you can store your food or any kind of juice or anything in a big quantity. So he opened the barrel, but as soon as he opened the barrel, he heard the dog barking inside the house. So he left the barrel as it is and he went up, because he heard that dog was barking and was breaking the things inside the house. Hans rushed up the stairs to chase the animal out of the house. In his hurry, he forgot to shut the barrel, and the barrel turned upside down and the juice spilled out on the floor. So now, my dear students, the thing happened which should not happen. As you can see in the picture, he left the barrel open, and in a hurry, in a rush, he just left it open, and while he was going up, the barrel turned upside down, as it is round in the shape, and as Hans left it in the hurry, it fell down with his hands, and Hans had no idea about it, that he unknowingly pushed the barrel, and the juice inside the barrel just spilled outside on the floor, as you can see. Now let's see what will happen. Now Hans had no idea about this, that by mistake he pushed the barrel and the juice is there all over the floor. He just forgot about the barrel once he reached up. So how careless he was. Now let's see what happened next. Next, Hans put the stew on the fire to boil for lunch. Suddenly, he remembered that he had forgotten to feed Moi, the cow. So now what did he do? Now he was hungry. So he decided to cook one dish called stew. So Hans put the stew on the fire to boil for the lunch. So suddenly he remembered, while he was just making his dish, just kept the stew for boiling, suddenly he remembered that he had forgotten to feed Moi, the cow. You know, if you keep the cow, you have to daily feed the cow, and you have to maintain the cleanliness around the cow. So suddenly he remembered that he forgot to feed, to give the food to Moi. Moi was the name of cow. He took Moi to the rooftop. There was grass growing among the tiles. He tied one end on the rope around the cow's neck. He slipped the another end down the chimney and tied it around his own leg. So, dear students, what happened? He took the cow on the rooftop in the terrace, and then there the grasses were there growing on the rooftop. So he thought that cow will sit there quietly and cow will eat the grass which is there on the rooftop. And so to make sure that he can remember that cow was there, what did he do? He tied the rope on the Moi's neck, and the another end of the rope he tied in his leg through the chimney. So let's see what happens. This way he could remind himself of the cow on the rooftop. So now he tied the cow on the rooftop, and on the rooftop there was a chimney which goes directly in the hall where Hans was cooking the stew. So he just threw the rope in the chimney so that he can get the rope in the hall to hold the cow. So he tied the rope in his leg so that if the cow will move, he will come to know. So let's see what will happen. So children, do you think it is a good idea to take care of the cow this way? By tying the rope on her neck and by tying the other end of the rope in the leg. Is this a good idea? Let's see what happens. Will this idea work? Will Hans this time properly take care of the cow, will be able to do the household work or not. Hans was now busy grinding the grains. While he was working, Moi saw a hen on the rooftop. So now just imagine what will happen, students. He was grinding the grains, he was crushing the grains, and when he was working, Moi was still grazing the grass, and Moi was sitting on the rooftop. And suddenly, when Moi was eating, she saw a hen on the rooftop. Now you know that the nature of cow, and especially here the Moi was very mischievous cow. So it decided to chase the hen away. So Moi decided to chase the hen away from the rooftop. As I said, Moi was very mischievous and she did not want anyone to sit on the rooftop other than herself. Moi ran after the hen in the full speed. Now just imagine, my dear students, that for example this is the rooftop. Moi was sitting here and the other end of the thread was tied here on the hen's leg. Just imagine if Moi will run down like this, will not Hans be pulled up on the rooftop? Yes, so exactly this is going to happen now. So let's see what will happen to Hans, who was directly tied with Moi when Moi will run. So Moi ran after the hen in the full speed, and you know, students, how fast cow and bull runs. So he kept hanging there. What happened? Meanwhile, the rope tied to the hen's leg pulled him up the chimney. So as you know that Hans was handling the cow with the leg, as one end of the rope was tied on the hen's leg. So Hans was pulled up when Moi got up and run after the hen. And now Hans was hanging on the chimney because of the cow. So while cow was still running wildly on the rooftop, Hans was hanging there on the chimney. As you can see in the picture, this is chimney and this is the thread, this is the end of the rope. This is the end of the rope with which Hans was tied. So he created really a big mess at home. So now somewhere he realized that whatever work his wife used to do was not easy at home. Martha came back and heard the cow mooing loudly. She ran up and settled Moi. As soon as Martha came home, she saw that Hans was hanging through the chimney and Moi was running on the rooftop, which was indirectly hurting Hans. So immediately Martha ran up on the terrace on the rooftop. She settled down, she calmed down the Moi. She asked the Moi cow to sit at one place because Martha was good at handling the cow. She also freed the rope around its neck. So the rope tied on the cow's neck was freed up, was opened up by Martha. So Hans directly fell down on the stew. As you can see that this is the rope and this rope directly goes on the hot stew which was kept on the chimney to cook. So what happened? As soon as Martha opened the rope, the Hans who was hanging here directly fell down in the stew, in the hot stew. Can you see, students, the picture where the stew is all over the head on the Hans. So this happened to Hans. So Hans, who was stuck in the chimney, came crashing down. He fell with his head into the hot stew. When Martha came inside the room, she saw butter splashed around. The juice was spilled on the cellar floor and her husband's head was in the stew. So this was the mess. As you can see, students, in the picture, this is the butter on the floor. This is the chimney and the stew. Everything was messed up by the Hans. Now, Hans promised never to find fault with her works again. So at last, when Martha came home, when she saw everything was messed up, Hans was really guilty for his commitment and for his foolishness. And on the same day, Hans promised her wife Martha that he will never find the mistake of Martha in keeping the house and maintaining the house henceforth. So this is the end of the story, where Hans learnt a great lesson never to insult her wife or any woman when she is doing the household work. So with this, I end my today's lecture, my dear students. I hope you enjoyed the story. I request you to watch this lecture at least 2 times and to understand the story thoroughly. So thank you for watching the lecture. Keep yourself safe and keep following all the lectures. Keep sending your homework to your follow-up teachers. Have a nice day. Goodbye.